So, welcome everyone. This is our, I think, eighth or ninth um, science diplomacy seminar. Today we have Dr. Gabriela Ferreira. She holds a PhD in international relations. It's actually a joint degree between the University of São Paulo and King's College in London. A master's in recherche in Economie de la Mondialisation Université Paris 1. Huh? that that's difficult for me. Panthéon-Sorbonne, and it's also a double degree from Sorbonne and the PUC São Paulo, and a master's in education in history, politics, society at PUC São Paulo. She's a Bachelor of Laws from the PUC in Minas Gerais, and she's been working with science diplomacy. Actually, the main themes of in her work include foreign policy, science diplomacy, and innovation diplomacy. Um, she is member of the executive committee of the São Paulo School of Science Diplomacy. And thank you so much for accepting our invitation, Gabriela. We're looking forward to hear about the work you guys are doing in São Paulo. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here today. Thank you for your kind presentation. It's a pleasure to talk about the subject that I like so much, and that has been shaping my career. As you said, I have a not linear background. I come from law, I passed through social science, I went to the economic field, and I landed in the international relations PhD. And currently I am working on innovation in science diplomacy together with gender issues in the Department of Political Science at the University of São Paulo. So it's good. Why I'm telling you that? Because I believe that this is one of the main characteristics of science diplomacy. It is a multi-thematic field, and that's why it's so important for us to discuss that and to share what we do, and especially to invite you to apply to the next Insight SP. As you said, I am part of the executive committee of Insight. And well, I'm going to start my presentation so I can talk better about Insight and why I want to share the work that we have been doing since 2019 with you. Science and Innovation Diplomacy in Brazil. I have here my name together with the name of Professor Amâncio Jorge de Oliveira. It's a pleasure to me to say that Professor Amâncio Jorge de Oliveira was my supervisor during my PhD, and I have been working with him since 2015, I believe, or 14 maybe. And now we are having this great school that's Innovation and Science Diplomacy School, and I am part of the executive committee, but he is the coordinator together with the secretary Pedro Ivo Ferraz da Silva, that is a career diplomat of the Brazilian Foreign Ministry. So we have Professor Amâncio Jorge de Oliveira and Pedro Ivo Ferraz da Silva, and they are coordinating this school since 2019. As a piece of information, my PhD talked about Brazilian initiative on education diplomacy and science diplomacy. That is a very interesting program that Brazil has called PEC-PG and PEC-G, where Brazil brings international students to do their undergrad and grad students in Brazil as a tool of soft power, but not only that. And this is what we are going to discuss today, because inside congregates everything that I believe that science diplomacy is about. So, what is science? What is Inside SP? Well, nowadays it is a research project in science and innovation diplomacy. However, it started as an advanced school funded by FAPESP in 2019, and USP has already hosted 3 schools, one in 2019, presential, one in 2020, and one in 2021, when we moved to the online mode because of the pandemics. This is a picture, a great picture of Inside SP 2019. We are going to talk more about the initiative. We were very happy to bring almost 100 students from all over the world, but not only, we say students because it's a school, but we had PhDs, postdocs, professors, diplomats here in Brazil in 2019. When, oh, here is a picture of me, Professor Janino Nuki, that is a very important person for me. She thought a lot during my career, and you can see that this picture has only women, and I'm going to say why a bit after. Well, just one more piece of information. In 2019, we had a very important negotiation session where we craft the São Paulo framework of innovation diplomacy. That's here, and you can find at the Inside website, inside.com. It's a framework of innovation diplomacy because people talk a lot about science diplomacy, but not so much about innovation diplomacy. And Inside gave this input to the field with a framework about the subject. And there is another derivation of the school that is the Sprint USP. It's a partnership between the Institute of International Relations and the Chemistry Institute. Well, science and innovation diplomacy, I'm not exactly defining the subject anymore because you are already in the ninth meeting and you have already a lot of discussion about the subject. But I want to just frame that is the interaction between scientists and foreign policy agents and diplomats to advance national interests, common and global challenges, right? Depends on what's the objective of the agents. And Inside as a project has 3 main objectives. Study these interactions between scientists and foreign policy agents / diplomats, because I don't like to put only in the career diplomats this ability to act right in the foreign policy spectrum, and to explain to scientists and diplomats what these interactions are, and to promote these interactions during the school. So I like to put that Inside is a science and innovation diplomacy action in itself, right? When we bring people from different areas, different backgrounds, different countries to discuss how these interactions can be better organized and give better derivations, we are doing science diplomacy. So science and innovation diplomacy at its core, I like to say about Inside. To the foreign audience, FAPESP and this ESPCA, that the advanced schools. Well, FAPESP is one of the main agencies for promoting scientific and technological research in the country. And this means that it supports scientific and technological research throughout scholarship and research grants that cover all areas of knowledge. So FAPESP is a huge funding agency in Brazil, one of the biggest, to be honest. And these ESPCAs, that are the advanced schools, are funded by FAPESP, and they promote these short courses in advanced research in different areas of knowledge inside the state of São Paulo. And inside, as I said before, in 2019, received one of these grants, and that's why we were able to bring more than 100 scientists to discuss this subject here in São Paulo, inside of the University of São Paulo. Normally, inside is divided in two tracks, and we have one track to discuss science diplomacy and the second track to discuss innovation diplomacy. We always have some lectures, some panels, some practical activities, and visits, right? These these activities exactly happened in 2019, when we were able to go to field visits at the Sirius project and at Embraer, right? But in 2020, we cannot go to anywhere to visit in person, right? But we still hold some activities, practical activities that include negotiation or prospection. Well, this image is from 2019. We received more than 900 applications, almost 1,000, from 100 different countries, accounting for 720 institutions. And so it's we have a connection with the Ministry of Foreign Relations. We always use our embassies, Brazilian embassies and Brazilian consulates, to share the information and ask for applicants all around the world. And this is one of the best things that inside could foster, right? This connection with different countries. And as I said before, in 2019, we had 80 participants, but more than 100 scientists when we account for the lecturers that came to São Paulo. And we received the support not only from FAPESP and the Ministry of Foreign Relations, but also from the Fleury laboratories in Brazil. It was a huge success, I could say. In 2020, we had the pandemic, and we had to think fast, and we changed all our how to, right? And we started doing this. We decided to do the inside online, completely online. It was a challenge for us because we had almost 10 days with more than 110 participants, not to mention the lectures. So we had at some point like 150 people or a little bit more online at the same time during the panels, the lectures, and the practical activities. And it was very interesting because we had the support of the UK Innovation Strategy, the institution responsible for the UK Innovation Strategy. We had the support also of ABERJ in Brazil and one University of São Paulo, the FMU, that is quite people know about this college a lot here in São Paulo, especially. And in 2021, we stretched a little bit more, and we had 160 participants online, not accounting for the lectures too, so almost 200. But we had already a previous experience online, so we took the challenge, we faced it, and it was a great success too. We had the participation of TWAS, the World Academy of Science for Developing Countries, and the AAAS, that is the American Association of Science, and the Brazilian Academy of Science. It was a very interesting endeavor this year. Also, 10 days of lectures and panels and practical activities with 2 tracks, one more focused on innovation diplomacy and one more focused in science diplomacy. And one thing that we are really proud of is that our selection process is always concerned with balance. We give the option to the applicants to mark their gender if they feel comfortable with that. If no, it's okay for us too. But when we ask to try to make the gender balance possible, right? And countries and nationalities, areas of study. Oh, when I mean, we have people from math, from biology, from oceanography, from I believe almost every area was already contemplated inside. And I put here areas of work because we are not only interested in scientists, we are also interested in having foreign policy agents and career diplomats. So we have a very broad spectrum, and the best part of that is that we enable the conversation between these areas and these fields of work and these countries that are not always together in the same room to talk. As I said before, we have been working with a lot of different areas of study and areas of work, because we try to bring together not only scientists from different fields, but also foreign policy agents, not only diplomats in a narrow view of who works with foreign policy, but in a broad perspective. So we always bring some foreign policy agents from different organizations, from different from different parts of the government, because foreign policy nowadays is not only made by the Ministry of Foreign Relations, right? So we try to bring everyone together so we can foster the dialogue, the knowledge, the connections, always during the school. It's very nice when I see ex-students collaborating in different projects after the school, science projects or foreign policy projects. I always become very proud of the work we are doing. It means that it works, right? If they are being able to collaborate not only during the school, but after the school, something is going in the right direction. So I feel very much proud of these possibilities fostered by Inside. And I was talking about some projects that were developed by Inside, because we organize these connections abroad and inside Brazil too. And we have other research projects that were created inside. And I was mentioning about Educa Paulo Vem para USP in a partnership of the University of São Paulo. and the state of São Paulo, the government of the state of São Paulo, where we try to share with high school students some concepts of international relations and science diplomacy. We also have a very nice project called Diplomatas da Inovação, with the provost of research of the University of São Paulo, with a lot of not only iniciação científica, science initiation. I don't know if there is a term for that in English. I never used that, but let's think about there is a Leticia.
I don't know. Just use it. I think it undergrad or scientific initiation. I think it's possible to understand.
It's a way to teach undergrad students how to make research, how to do research, right? And not only, it's very nice about the Diplomatas da Inovação, that is the innovation diplomats, that it focuses not only in those undergrad students, but also in these high school students of the state network. So it's a pre-iniciação científica also. And another project that was created inside was the gender STI, a connection in a connection with the University of São Paulo and the European Union, where we talk about science, technology, and innovation through a gender perspective. As I said before, it's a concern of the executive committee always to have a gender balance when we select the participants of the school. And another project called IRI-USP that Inside is part of, inside the CNPq. And I just want to finish my talk. I believe I am going beyond the time.